In today's session, we'll see how to work with conditional formatting, conditionally formatting a row when a salesman is listed on the same day more number of times. In this example, I have taken a date, region, name, amount, which is a sales information. If you look at the dates, especially if you look at this eighth and ninth row, which is talking about the salesman name is Richard and the dates are same, that is 24 and 24. That is, Richard is listed more than one on the same day. And if you look at the next one, that is Kim. Kim also shows twice here, that is fourth. Kim is listed twice here. In the same way, we can see Monty also listed 4 times. I'm pretty sure you must be thinking like we have to apply a conditional formatting from the home menu, which is quite easy. Go to the conditional formatting and apply uh, showing any row which is more than once. But unfortunately, we do not have that such a built-in function. We have to create a formula. We have to create a formula as we have a criteria more than once. So we have to use a COUNTIFs formula here. So let's start building the COUNTIFs formula here. So for that, I'll say COUNTIFs. And here I want to go for the criteria range as the first column, that is your date, whichever the column comes first, that is, let me lock both the row and column in this case, because I do not want it to change to a different rows or columns here. Now, once I say comma, I have criteria one, again, it's going to be a very first date. I want to look up for each and every date and start comparing. So let me use F4 key here and lock only the column. As we can see, there is only column is locked, but not the row. Now let me go for the second range. When I use comma, we can see on the 2D box, it's showing criteria range 2. If I want the criteria range to the column in which I want to see the name, that is the D column. So let's go for D column and lock it from the both, that is row F4 and F4 here. So both are locked. There is a row and column because we do not want this column to be changed. So once I say comma here, it's asking what is your criteria range, criteria 2. For that, I'm selecting Richard here. All right. So your F4 key should be applicable, that is only on the D, that is the column, but not the row. Once I close this, let me see what exactly the result it is going to give me now. Once I say OK, I got one here. Let me put it in the second one. I got, sure enough, the columns are referring to perfectly. Now I want this to be in a 4 different cells, because as we have 4 different columns here, as you can see, there are 4 columns. I want the formula to be also placed in the 4 columns in order to see whether I'm getting the right result. Because if your counting formula is working, then it sure enough, you can apply into a conditional formatting. Now, wherever we have the salesman listed more than once, it should show a different number than the one. So I can see here only 2 are showing, which is good. That is Richard on the 24th listed twice here. And again, we have John, who is also showing up on first twice. At the same time, we have Kim, who is also showing thrice here. So it's showing 3. And next we have something called Monty, salesman, who is showing 4 times here. So sure enough, if I try to change this to 10 to 11, this number should be showing in a different way, because this is not listed anymore as per the date, right? So now what I'll do is, being this a 1 and 2, conditional formatting formula will not understand conditional formatting, always take the formula as a true or false. So in order to make it true or false, what we can do is use a greater than operator and say 1. Once you say greater than 1, what happens? The number formatting will change to a text that is true or false. It is false. Let me see what really it's giving the result for the first one. Yes, Richard on 22nd, it's only 1, so it's showing false, which is fair enough. Now let me copy this to down. All right, so it's copying down and we can see all the trues and false, which is showing up now. Now the job is completed. Now What is left is we want to apply the conditional formatting by using a formula. So I'm copying this formula. I'll go to conditional formatting, that is going to your home ribbon, going to the home and go to the conditional formatting and create a new rule. Okay, create a new rule. But before that, make sure you are trying to select the entire data set. Okay, entire data set, and go to the home again and go to the conditional formatting, create a new rule. Once you click on the new rule, there are different options which are available in the formatting rules here, whether you want to format all the cells based on their values, or you want to format only cells that contain something, or you want to format only the top or bottom rows. So I want here to use formula to determine which cells to be formed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste that formula, Control V. Once you paste, we need to select the format, that is which color you want to apply as a conditional format here. So let me go to the fill option. I'm selecting some, let's say green color. All right. If you want to go for any font also, we can select a font. Let me select the font as well. And I said green as a background, font as a white color. I said, okay. I said, okay. And you can see that wherever the true is there, okay, we got this conditional formatting automatically appears even if the data changes tomorrow. It works dynamically. Let me try to do some changes and see if it is really working. I want to change this date to 4 so that the conditional formatting can apply, because the Richard is going to be listed twice in this case because I just modified the date. It should appear in the green color. Sure enough, even the trues are working. So this formulas are not required anymore, but it's always advised before you actually write any formula in conditional formatting, which is not so easy to write. So better you write in an Excel sheet, try to see if the results are correct, then copy the formula and put it in the conditional formatting and see the result. If you find this video informative, then click on like button and make sure to subscribe to Montyexcel. The best is yet to come. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Hello everyone, welcome to Montyexcel, Excel in Life. Wherever you are in this world, we all speak one language, that is Microsoft Excel. In this video, we are going to learn an amazing trick that will save your time and efforts when working with large data sets in the Microsoft Excel. Have you ever find yourself scrolling through endless rows, columns of the data, trying to keep track of important information? Well, no more. In this video, we will show you how to use conditional formatting to automatically highlight the selected row, column, rows and columns, make it easier to spot and analyze specific data. If you are new here, consider subscribing to our channel and turning on notification bell so you won't miss any future videos from Montyexcel. Without further delay, let's dive in right in. All right. I hope you have seen the previous videos where we trying to use conditional formatting in order to highlight a row. Also, there is another video to how to highlight a column whenever you're selecting a particular cell. Now let's try to see the combination of rows and the columns. Whenever you're trying to select any cell in your spreadsheet, that intersection row and as well as the column should be selected. To achieve this, again, we'll try to use the conditional formatting. As I mentioned, it's a very powerful Excel function that allows us to apply formatting based on certain conditions. And we always wanted Excel to recognize whenever we are trying to select any cell, that corresponding column and as well as row should be automatically apply the formatting and highlight the entire row and as well as column. So the very first step, you need to select the entire data set here on your spreadsheet, go to the home tab and go to the conditional formatting and click on the new rule. As I mentioned, we have many options here, but we'd like to use the last option, which says equal to a formula to determine which cells to format. So here, as you have seen in the previous videos, when I'm trying to format any row, I'm trying to use a function called row. When I'm using when in the second video, when you're trying to format a column, we are using a column. Now we need to use both the combinations, that is the rows and as well as column. So when we are using both the conditions, we are using here the OR operator, and we are using the cell, and we have to mention the column. So let's specify COL, that is a column, equals to column, and within this column, there is no parameter here. We are not passing any parameter. All right, because in the first cell itself, the column is being passed, and column doesn't have any parameter for this example. Now let's try to use a comma operator here and use a cell within open and closing parentheses, use a row. As you can see, we are trying to use a column and as well as a row as a parameters here. And finally, we need to say row opening and closing parameters. But hold on, the formula is not yet over. We need to close the final parenthesis, that is a right parenthesis. So now you go to the format, select any particular color, your desired color. Let's try to select the font color also this time. Let's try to see maybe white. Then once you see OK and OK, you can see the column is selected, but not the row. So that means it is not working 100%. Again, the same reason. That means we need to write a piece of a code behind the scenes that is in the Visual Basic Editor. In order to invoke it, either we can use Alt F11, or you can just go to right click on your tab and go to the code window. Here, try to select the worksheet. As I mentioned earlier, worksheet selection change is an event. Whatever you write a piece of code here, that will trigger whenever there is a change in the spreadsheet. So let's try to use the same uh, line of code here, that is target dot calculate. So I want to refresh on every selection. Now let's try to save the file here. Let's try to save the file and see whenever you're trying to select, okay, the intersection cell and as well as the column is being selected. This will make easy for us to spot exactly the value of the cell which you're trying to look in your huge data set. If you find this video informative, then click on like button and make sure to subscribe to Montyexcel. The best is yet to come. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Hello everybody, welcome to Montyexcel, Excel in Life. In today's session, we'll see how to create multiple folders with 2 steps. Creating hundreds of folders manually can be an overwhelming and time-consuming task. It requires a lot of patience, precision, and attention to the details. It is a monotonous task that can lead to boredom, which can cause errors and inconvenience. Firstly, the process involves creating a new folder one by one, entering a unique name, and then moving on to the next folder. Depending upon the naming convention or the directory structure, it can be a challenging to come up with a unique and meaningful names for each folder. Additionally, creating hundreds of folders manually requires focus and concentration to ensure that the folders are organized correctly and in the proper hierarchy. Small mistakes such as misplacing a folder or naming them incorrectly can cause confusion and result in data loss. Overall, the process of creating hundreds of folders manually can be a tedious, mentally and physically draining. But don't worry, you can create multiple folders from your Excel data in just 2 steps. Yes, you heard it right, just 2 steps. All right, if you see here, there are almost 150 names for which I'm supposed to create a folders. And also there is some code where it is attached, like we want to create Atlanta underscore 18. That is the folder name which I will need to create on a month basis or weekly basis, depending upon the business requirement. So what if we start creating manually each folder, it will take a lot of time and it's going to error. So let's try to take a look how to create multiple folders with the 2 steps. The first step is working in Excel. Second step is working with a notepad. And in order to do this, I'm just creating a concatenation between the Atlanta plus 18, that is nothing but the code. So for that, I require MD, which stands for make directory, which will use, it's a Windows command, then use double quote, then use ampersand, and take the name of the folder, and also again ampersand, then take the code. But before taking the code, we want an underscore between this Atlanta and 18. So what I do is I'll use double quote, again underscore, double quotes. Is basically we are trying to concatenation with an underscore here. So again, I'm using ampersand and the code here. Once I say enter, I got the name and as well as the code with an underscore. So MD, again, I repeat, it's a make directory command which is used in the Windows Explorer. So I'll just copy this and bring it on. Now I have 150 names here for which I want to create the folders. So what I do is I'll simply copy the names which I have created with the help of a concatenation. Then I'll use Notepad and paste it. This is the second step which I'm using. Second application, what we require. Now I'll save this as any file name dot. It could be any file name for that matter. Run dot, let's say bat file. All right, it's not a notepad file now. It's a bat file. I'm trying to save it on desktop and say save. I'm closing this bat file, not required anymore. Now I'll go to my Windows Explorer to see if the bat file is created or not. Now you can see a bat file is created. The only thing is you just run this bat file. You'll see this creating of 100 folders within no time. You'll see on your desktop. Like you can see, it's starting with Albania. Okay, we have all the names of the folder with proper structure, and as well as you have underscore its code. Hope you like this video. A trick to create a multiple folders with two-step using Excel application and as well as Notepad. If you find this video informative, then click on like button and make sure to subscribe to Montyexcel. The best is yet to come. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Pivot table is a powerful tool to calculate, summarize, and analyze data that lets you see comparisons, patterns, and trends in your data. Pivot table works a little bit different depending upon what platform you're using to run Excel. Hello everyone, welcome to Montyexcel, Excel in Life. In today's session, we are going to see how to create a pivot table. But hold on, we all know how to create a pivot table. But here we are going to use amazing magical trick of pivot table, which will help you to save your tons of time in creating a multiple sheets of multiple pivot tables. What I mean, let's try to understand the data before we go ahead of creating any pivot chart or pivot table, or when you want to create any insights from your raw data. So we have order ID here, order date, ship mode, customer ID, and we have customer name, city, region, subcategory, sales, and so forth. This is basically superstore sales information from which you wanted to create a pivot table. Just imagine your boss has asked you create a pivot table. It's quite easy, but he wanted me to create city-wise pivot tables. That is 500 cities right now. We can see in the city column. At the same time, we also wants to show the region wise. We also wanted to show in the sales value, right? So when you want to create a pivot, we all know there is a shortcut key Alt NVT. Quickly, it will ask you one question. Do you want to create in a new worksheet or existing one? So let me go for a new sheet altogether. Now, what basically I want to create, based on what parameters? I want the city to be on the top filter because 500 cities. Then I want a region. Let's try to take in the rows, right? Then we have something called sales value, which is showing up in the sales. Now, we also require a ship mode to be shown in the column section. All right. Now, make sure before you actually create a copies of these pivot tables by using the magical trick now, you try to do all the cosmetic changes which you want to do, all the formattings which you want to do. Let me put some comma separator. Also, I want to put some design here. Let me go for some beautiful design here. Let me select something like this. All right. Now, my design part is over. If you want to create a pivot chart also, we can create, which will help you to, which will keep forwarding to that other sheets as well. So now you can see there are multiple cities, right, from A to Y. And now I want to create. Now let me make it as a master pivot so that we can remember. Now this is my superstore raw data. Now, based on my boss request, what I want to do is first I want to set the first country, that is Akron. I want to select the data, copy it. If I am trying to do manually, guys, if I'm trying to do manually, I need to copy the city name, paste as a tab name, then do the formattings. All right. Now go for the second pivot table, that is next to city. Now I want to copy this, go to the third sheet and paste it, and also take the city name as a sheet name. Just imagine if you want to create this way 500 sheets, we can create it. It will take a lot of time. But what if I say this same job can be done in a few seconds by using this amazing magical pivot trick? Let's try to see. Before that, let me delete everything. That is 2 additional tabs which I created manually, which is not up to the mark. And there are 100% chances where you can do mistakes as well, because 500 cities, right? So I'll go to the master pivot again. I'll try to see if I have all the required information. Yes. And all the cosmetic changes, what you require, that is a comma separator. If you wanted decimals, do all the formattings as per your business requirement, as per your work. And once you're ready, you select any portion of your pivot table, go to pivot table designer. Okay, that is pivot table analyzer rather. Now the magic trick comes here. That is sitting right here in the pivot table analyzer under that pivot table. The moment I click on this option, with a few clicks, we are going to create. But before that, if I want to do the same job, either I need to know the Microsoft Power Query, which is much powerful, or I need to use VBA, that is Visual Basic Programming, that is writing a macros. Macros are nothing but set of instructions which you write to the computer in order to make your work done. So both works without any problem. But what if I don't know Power Query, where I need to do a lot of steps? What if I don't know programming, where I'm not a coder? Basically, I'm not a technical guy, but I want to achieve this task without writing a formula, without writing any code. Just with few button clicks, I want to do my boss requirement. All right. Now, what you do is select the pivot table, go to the pivot table analyzer and click on pivot table. And don't click on options. It will show up a different dialog box. Now what you do is very important. I repeat, click on the pivot table. Don't click on the options. Click on the drop down menu here. There comes the hidden feature what we have in the pivot table, that is show report filter pages. Once you click on show report filter pages, it is showing me only one particular column out of so many columns in my raw data. Just imagine there are hundreds of columns in your raw data, but here it is showing only city. The reason being, if you look at the pivot table, the way you have created, the city column you have put in filters area, right? Filters area. So whatever you create, any column in the filter area, that will show up in the filter pan. So let me go again to the filter analyzer and click on pivot table, click on options, then click on show report filter pages. The moment I click, you are going to see an amazing feature of pivot table. All right. Once I click on it, there are 500 sheets which are going to be created less than a minute or in a few seconds. Just 2 clicks. I clicked on pivot table and clicked on the show report filter pages. Now, once I click that, you'll see all the sheets will be created without any issue. Now you can see it is working much faster than your Power Query or much faster than your VBA coding, where I need to spend a lot of time in order to write the row section, column section, pivot table options. We need to write a lot of sections in the VBA programming in order to achieve this. Of course, we can do with the VBA, as I said. We can also use the Power Query. Less than a minute, we are going to create a pivot tables of multiple shares with a proper naming convention, because I don't know what are the city names in this. There are 500 city names of United States. So without even reading the city names, I could able to create now, not copying, not pasting, not clicking anywhere, just clicking on an option and show filter pages. Now you can see it is keep running, keep running. There are 500 sheets it is going to create. So it's going to take a time, less than a minute. We are going to see all this pivot table going to be created. Now you can see amazing Acron is created. Okay, there are different sheets which are created here without taking any time, just less than a minute. It could able to create all the sheets. You can also see at the top. Okay, we can also see at the top the city name and corresponding the city name tab. All right, we have city name and city concern pivot table. Right. So hope you like this. This is an amazing trick what is available in the pivot table. If you find this video informative, then click on like button and make sure to subscribe to Montyexcel. The best is yet to come. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Hello everyone, welcome to Montyexcel, Excel in Life. In today's session, we'll see how to unprotect Excel worksheet without password. No VBA required, no special software required to do this. All right, in this worksheet, I have some important information. I don't want anyone to modify my content. I can see there is a sales analysis dashboard based on the months. It's changing its view. So I'm going to apply protection, and to do that, I click on the review. Once you click on the review, you can see there is a protection sheet option available. Once you click on the protection sheet, here where we are going to provide a password. So let's say Monty as a password here. Once I say okay, I need to reconfirm the password again as Monty. All right, once you specify the password, now you can see there are 17 billion cells in the Excel are going to be locked, and nobody can edit this without password. Now, when I try to click on this anywhere in the cells, it will show it is protected. Now, assume that you forgot the password and you're trying to open this file, and instead of the right password, if you're trying to give any other password, it will show you that it is protected now. Okay, I'm going to save the file now. Save and close. You can see the file is showing on the desktop as a sales dashboard, and the extension by default is .xlsx. Now, in order to change the extension from xlsx to zip, where we are going to unlock the password, we need to provide as .zip. So provide as .zip. Once you mention as a zip and say enter, it will tell you that are you sure you want to change it, because if you change the new name extension, this might become unusable. That's fine for me. Let's say yes, and you can see the folder has changed to zip. Now try double clicking it. You can see there is a subfolders for the zip. There is an Excel folder, and there is a folder called worksheets. Now you can see on the screen, there are different sheets. Almost I have 11 sheets in my workbook. Based on your case, like if you have one sheet, it will show as a 1. If you have 10, it will show as a 10. The first sheet is now protected. Now we need to unlock it. In order to do that, you just take a copy of this sheet 1. I'm dragging it to the desktop. Now you can see there is a copy of this sheet 1 .xml, which is an extended markup language. Now what I'll do is I'll right click on the XML file and say open with. You need to open with a notepad. Once you open with the notepad, you can see there's a lot of information, and it's really difficult to find what we want to remove from this sheet. So what you can do is use Control F and try to find protection. Once you hit enter, you'll find protection within this notepad. Once you find the notepad, what you can do is from the sheet protection from the left bracket to the right bracket, try checking where exactly it is ending. Okay, I can see here it is ending here exactly. Now, this selected portion, we have to delete it. Once you delete, save back. Now the file is saved. By this time, the protection is already gone. So you just try to replace this sheet1.xml. Now it's saying that you want to copy or replace. It's fine for me, copy and replace. Now you can close this file explorer. Also, I can delete the file which you copied on your desktop. You can delete. And from zip, again, you need to change to .xlsx. Let's try to change to .xlsx and hit enter. Again, you are going to see the same message. That is, by changing the file name extension, the file might become unusable, or you sure you want to change it. Say yes, because you want to change to Excel file. Once it has changed to the Excel file, you need to open the file and see if it is unprotected. Sure enough, it was unprotected. I can click anywhere. You can click anywhere. It is allowing me. In order to make sure, just go to the review and see whether it's showing as unprotect or protect. So that means the protection has gone now. The password is no more required. You can edit, you can delete, you can do whatever the changes you want to do on your Excel file. If you find this video informative, then click on like button and make sure to subscribe to Montyexcel. The best is yet to come. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Hello everyone, welcome to Montyexcel, Excel in Life. Wherever you are in this world, we all speak one language, that is Microsoft Excel. Let's see, using Microsoft Power Query, how to create a pivot table from multiple sheets seamlessly. Are you tired of manually combining data from various sheets to create a pivot table? Well, no more. In this video, we will dive into the power of Microsoft Power Query, a fantastic tool that will change the way you work with your data. Power Query allows you to effortlessly connect, transform, and combine data from multiple sheets, making your data analysis process faster and more efficient. No more copying and pasting or dealing with the complex formulas. Power Query does the heavy lifting for you. Whether you are a seasoned data analyst or just starting your journey, this video is for you. We will walk you through step-by-step process from connecting to multiple sheets, transforming data, and finally creating a dynamic pivot table that updates automatically as your data changes. Get ready to unlock the true potential of your data and take your Excel skills to the next level with Microsoft Power Query. Hit that subscribe button and like this video if you are excited to learn how to master Power Query for pivot tables. Don't forget to leave your questions and comments in the section below. Let's dive in and level up your data analysis game together. So without further delay, let's get started. All right, we can see two tables here. One is the transaction table 1, transaction table 2. In real-time scenario, must be having a multiple sheets here. For the example, we have taken 2. As for the first table is concerned, we can see a transaction number as a first column and date as a second column, department, quantity, and sales amount. And if you take a closer look, the date is showing in the first column, whereas in the first table, the date is showing in the B column. In the same way, the transaction number is in the B column and transaction number is in the A column. So what I mean to say is the columns are not really constant here. It is keep changing as this data is being extracted from system. So whatever the reason might be. So what we're going to do here is now we want to combine this data. So how in real-time scenario manually, if you are trying to do, you'll copy this date column and go to the first table and find where is the date column and try to paste under this date. But let's not do this anymore because we want our Microsoft Power Query to identify smartly the column names and automatically club these two data sets into one and try helping us in creating a pivot table. So to do that, what we need to do is first, let's try to convert this into a table format. As we know, we need to use a shortcut key, Control T, in order to create a table. So I'm just saying, see, my table has a headers here, said, okay, my table is created. So let me go for table design and change the table name to trans1, anything. Now the table name is also given. Now going to the second table, trying to make it as a table format, and as well as go to the table design and let's say trans2. This is only a identification. Why? Because we may have in real time many tables. So in order to differentiate, it's always better to give a proper table names here. So the business case or the problem statement is quite clear here. The columns are not same. It is interchange. A is in the B column, B is in the C column, but still we want to club. As you can see, there are almost 30 rows in the first table. In this transaction 2 table, there are some 200 odd rows. So the number is not constant here. The data is keep growing, but we don't want to keep an eye how much data is growing, whether my pivot table is rightly linked or not. Right. So what we need to do is, as I said, like we are going to use a Power Query in order to do this. I'll go to the data here where we can see get and transform data here. All right. So we can get data from an Excel workbook or CSV or XML, JSON. Is a lot of features what we have, but currently the data is residing within the Excel file itself, right? So we have these multiple sheets within the workbook itself. Had it been if it is a different file, I would have went for the data and get data from file from Excel workbook or from the folder. What does it mean, the folder? Like you have multiple files which you want to consolidate. Now, I'm not going to use any of the option here because the data is sitting in my right Excel here. So what I do is I'll go to data again. I'll select this option, what you can see from table or range. So already you know that is we have created we also mentioned a name for this table, that is a trans1. Just I'll quickly click on this. Once you click, it will take you another internal window called Microsoft Power Query. So once you go to this query, we can see now you can see it is showing up that data what it is collected from the first table, that is trans1. It's already showing up trans1 as the name of the table, and here it is showing the source is nothing but showing where exactly it got this data, that is excel.current workbook, and the name of the table is trans1. All right, so I've done my first job. Now what I'll do is I'll simply close and load to. There are two options here. We can just say close and load. Never try to use close and load at this moment, because if you click close and load, it will try to create a separate sheet and it will put the same data again into the Excel sheet. So let's say close and load to. So here we have a different options available. That is either you want to create a table. No, because we already have a table here. Do you want to create a pivot table report? All right. Do you want to create a pivot chart here? Or you want to just create a connection? At this moment, I want to create a connection because I also need to work on the second table. So let's say, okay, instantly you'd see at the right side that the connection is trying to be established now, right? Now, let me do the same exercise for the transaction table 2. For that, I'll go to the data. I'll go to the from table or range, same option again. Now it is taking me to the window where I can see my table name as trans2 and trans2 here. And this is my entire data set. Now again, I'll close and not close and load, but rather close and load to. Once you say load to, it will again ask you the same options, whether you want to create a report or whether you want to create a chart or you want to just create a connection. At this moment, I want to create a connection. Just say okay. So why I created only a connection? Because if you say table, it will create another sheet and start loading the same data into your Excel file, which I don't want. Now, I have the two tables, which are going to be a very dynamic and created two queries. Now, what next? I want to club them both. right? Because the data is keep growing, I cannot do it manually. Now, once you create a relationship between this or you append both, so this process is going to be forever. That means it's a one-time exercise what I'm doing. Next time when the data is growing, automatically everything updates. So let's try to click on any of the table here because I want to edit it. Once you go to the window where you can see table 1 and table 2 here, right? Now, try to check transaction number is showing in the A column. In the transaction 2, it is showing the date. Now, how this data is going to be clubbed? Do I need to do any kind of exercise, or do I need to write any formulas I need to write, or do I need to write any code? Nothing. We doesn't require to do anything. Your Power Query is much powerful, and at the same time it's very smart enough to identify the column numbers automatically. So let's do that. Now what I'll do is there is an option in the home button, that is you want to merge. No, I don't want to merge here. I want to append rather. There are two options I get it. Whether you want to append as a query both tables, or you want to append a query as a new. Let's try to say new at this moment. Once you click on the new, there is a dialog box appears on the screen where it will ask you, do you have two tables only or three or more tables? So when you click on three or more tables, we have an option of selecting multiple tables which you extracted from your Excel workbook. So I don't have multiple sheets here. I'll just click on two tables. That is two tables option. The first table is already identified and my second table is trans 2. So the basic advantage of giving the names, now you can see, because I'm able to easily identify, differentiate which table is talking about what information. So that is a trans 1 and trans 2. Once I say okay, you'll see there is a one more query is created here. You can see append 1, which I want to rename. Let's say consolidation. All right. Once I say consolidation, my table is ready. Now my question is, trans 1, trans 2, they are not talking to each other because the columns are not similar, not in the right position. But is this append done correctly? Let's try to check. Transaction number is in transaction, date is in the date, department is department, everything is in the right direction clubbing. Okay. So what we need to do is now say close and not load to, rather say close and load to. Once you say close and load to, again the same option appears here. Do you want to create a table? No, I don't want to create a table because I already have the two tables in my Excel workbook. I don't want to create another table of consolidation. No, let's create a pivot table report here. Of course, you can also go for a pivot chart if you have the right visualization in your mind, what chart I require for this statement. So what I'll do is, at this moment, I want to create a pivot table. So simply say, okay, it is going to create a brand new sheet for you. And it is asking you what are the columns you want to include. Of course, it's I want to use a department in the rows column. Maybe I want to use the sales amount in the values. That's it. Your pivot table is ready now, and it is much dynamic. Of course, we can do the cosmetic changes. You want to change in it. You want to change it in a different format. You can do that by going to the design, by changing it to a different style altogether if you want to do any kind of stuff here. All right, my table format is also changed. Now what I'll do is, in order to test whether it's really working, I mean, tomorrow if any data has been added, is it really going to show up? Let's try to see. Let us pick up any of the department here. Sports and goods is there. And in the consolidation, I can see sports and goods. Combining these two tables, that is the trans 1 and trans 2, the total amount shows here, that is 12416. So let's try to add one row here. Quickly, I'll go to the bottom. I'll close this window for time being. And let's add one more row here. Now, being it's a table, what happens is everything automatically updates. So sports and days, I will change to some big number. Let's see if it is really updated. I'll go to the consolidation. I'll just quickly refresh, and you can see the amount is changed now for the sports and goods. So this is the complete process, how you can just create a beautiful pivot report, which you can use for the data analysis, or you can create a dashboard for your use. So from the two tables I have created, now you know how to create a pivot table from not just two tables, from multiple sheets. That too, it's going to be a dynamic in the If you find this video informative, then click on like button and make sure to subscribe to Montyexcel. The best is yet to come. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Hello everyone, welcome to Montyexcel, Excel in Life. Wherever you are in this world, we all speak one language called Excel. In today's short video, we'll see how to open Excel very quickly. Of course, there are multiple ways of opening your Excel application. Either you can go from the start menu to open the Excel, or you can search from the search in order to find your Excel application. But today I'm going to show you a very quick Excel hack through which you can open Excel with a shortcut key. So for that, what you do is search for your Excel application from the start menu, go for its properties. All right, open the file location and find your Excel application, then go to properties. Once you go to the properties, there is a shortcut key here, which you can mention your own shortcut key. Ensure that that shortcut key is not existing in the Windows application. So for that, what I'm using is Control Shift. You can use anything. Let's say I'm using Control Shift here, right? On the keyboard, then you are using any letter, let's say C. Control Shift C. Now I have made a shortcut of my own in order to open Excel application on my computer screen. So let me apply this and say continue. There is a warning, click continue to complete this operation, say continue and say okay and close. Now, if you want to open the application, now what you can say is Control Shift C. It will quickly open your Excel application on your computer screen. If you find this video informative, then click on like button and make sure to subscribe to Montyexcel. The best is yet to come. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Hello everyone, welcome to Montyexcel, Excel in Life. In this short video, we'll see how to list all the files which are existing in your folder. These files might be you received from your project team, or these files are collected from a different sources system. All right. So these files are not exactly only Excel. This could be a notepad files. This could be a image files. This could be any other file format which you want quickly copy these files, list of files into your Excel. All right. Either you can use a Power Query, which is much powerful. Within few clicks, we can just create the list of file names in the Excel file. Second option would be you can also write a VBA code and to rearrange all these files into your Excel. But here we are going to see a top secret, which you can do it more quicker than those things, that is using Power Query or VBA. So what you can see here, I have a folder, project files, where I can see there are different formats, like we have an Excel, we have a PowerPoint, we have PDF, we have Notepad, we have image files as well. So what happens is when you try to right click, we'll all have the standard options, like whether you want to copy, cut, okay, move. But here what I want to do is I want to copy these file names. All right, I want to copy with the file names, or you want to copy with the entire paths. So whatever the case might be, here my business case is to collect all the file names from the folder and show up on the Excel. So what I can do is select all the files in the folder what you have, because here I'm not writing a code, here I'm not using a Power Query, just I want to list all the file names. So what you can do is, instead of right clicking on the files what you selected, what you can do is Control Shift and use the right click option. You'll get immediately copy as a path. Here is the trick. We are not just copying here. We are trying to use copy as a path. Once you click on copy as a path, just move on to your Notepad or Excel, where you can directly place all these file names which you copied just now. So let me paste in the Excel. Here we go. So here I'll put file names. All right. So once the data is available now of different files, now what you can do is we can use our best feature of Excel, that is making a text to columns, right? We can use the text to columns, that is by going for data and use the text to columns here just to retrieve all your file names. So what you need to do is we have a delimiter, we have a fixed width. So what I can do is the very first one is the best choice here, where we can just provide some delimiter option, like we have a backward slash here. You say next, and not really a tab here. I want to go for other option. Once you go for other option, we need to specifically mention, because others mean what kind of delimiter you want to mention here. So I want to use a backward slash. As you can see, there is a backward slash in my list of file names. So once I say next, once I say finish, you can see all the file names are now available. Let me put just header here, and I can just get rid of this other two columns which are not really required for me at this moment. Now you can see the files are showing up in the required format. So here again, we have a project files has a folder name, which is also not required for me because I want to list down only the files. You can just go with the file names here. And as usual, you can just do the cosmetic changes like format and all. We can put the file name here. That's it. Very quickly, we could able to bring down all the files from the folder. If you find this video informative, then click on like button and make sure to subscribe to Montyexcel. The best is yet to come. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Hello everyone, welcome to Montyexcel, Excel in Life. Wherever you are in this world, we all speak one language, that is Microsoft Excel. In this video, we are going to learn an amazing trick that will save your time and efforts when working with large data sets in the Microsoft Excel. Have you ever find yourself scrolling through endless rows, columns of the data, trying to keep track of important information? Well, no more. In this video, we will show you how to use conditional formatting to automatically highlight the selected row, column, rows and columns, make it is easier to spot and analyze specific data. If you are new here, consider subscribing to our channel and turning on notification bell so you won't miss any future videos from Montyexcel. Without further delay, let's dive in right in. All right, let's highlight a row which makes easier to spot, analyze a specific data. To achieve this, we'll be using a conditional formatting, a powerful feature in Excel that allows us to apply formatting rules based on a certain conditions. We want Excel to recognize whenever you're trying to select a cell in a row or automatically apply the desired formatting to highlight the entire row here. So in order to do this, first step, you select the entire data set, go to the Home tab, and go to the conditional formatting. Under that, we have an option called New Rule. We are going to set a new rule here. So there are different rules available here. Format all the cells based on their values. Format only cells that contains or use formula to determine which cells to format. So this is what the option we are looking for because we are writing a formula here. So equals to row, which is no parameter. So equal to cell has a parameter. So let's try to pass row as a parameter. Once you do that, click on the format and select the desired format color or font color. You can select everything here, then say OK, then say OK. Then you see this row has selected here. The row is selected, but still it is not working 100%. The reason is whenever I'm trying to scroll, there is some action is happening on the Excel sheet, which your Excel spreadsheet is not able to identify. So we need another step in order to make this work 100%. So for which we want to go for a Visual Basic Editor to write a single line of a code. So in order to invoke your Visual Basic Editor, either you can use Alt F11 key, shortcut key to invoke the editor, or else we can just right click on the tab and go to the View Code. Once you go to the View Code, this is what the editor you are going to see on the screen. Now, click on the General and you'll see a worksheet. Now I'm writing an event for the worksheet. So what event I'm writing here? That is a selection change. So whenever there is a selection changes happening on your Excel sheet, something should be triggered. So I'm writing here target dot calculate. So what exactly this line mean? this code mean? That means whenever the targeted cell is selected, calculation should automatically happen. So let me close this and save the file. And you click anywhere, you'll see that the row is automatically selected and it is working 100%. This is how we can easily make your data to spot and analyze very quickly. If you find this video informative, then click on like button and make sure to subscribe to Montyexcel. The best is yet to come. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Hello everyone, welcome to Montyexcel, Excel in Life. Wherever you in this world, we all speak one language, that is Microsoft Excel. In today's video, let us see how to create barcodes in Excel. We'll guide you step-by-step process how to generate barcodes using the power of Excel. Barcodes are really essential for efficiency, inventory management, tracking products, and improving workflow. With our easy to follow instruction, you will learn how to leverage Excel formulas and formatting options to create a dynamic barcode that can scanned by any barcode reader. Get ready to unlock the potential of barcoding in Excel and streamline your business process like never before. All right. If you see, I've taken a small table here that is the product ID for which you want to create a barcode. So in order to create a barcode, generally what we do is we'll try to use a pipe symbols here. All right. Never try to do that giving a pipe symbol by default directly from the keyboard. What you can do is you can use the two formulas here. That is when you want to concatenate something. Okay. We can use either concatenate. All right. So what I want to concatenate here, I'm using double quotes, star, double quotes, comma. I'm using this cell reference. That is your first product ID. Then use the comma operator. Again, double quotes, star, double quotes, and end the bracket. And you will see that for this product ID, there's a prefix and suffix that is a star symbol. You can get these formula that is using a concatenation. Either you can use simply equals to double quotes, star, double quotes, ampersand, because we are trying to concatenate without a formula. So now what I want to do is again use ampersand, double quotes, star, double quotes. So whichever the way you are following, both works. Ultimately, we want to get two stars here before and end. Now what you do is you try to drag till the end of your product ID because you want to generate the barcode for all the products ID, which is in the B column, that is product ID. Now what I'll do is I'll select the entire column. I'll go to the home. Very easy trick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the font name here, that is, you can see here, library barcode 39, and say enter. You'll see that the barcode is ready. If you find this video informative, then click on like button and make sure to subscribe to Montyexcel. The best is yet to come. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.